Welcome to Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. Divine Kika is a radiant force, overflowing with positive energy, guiding you to a heart-opening, blissful, authentic tantric experience. This show will help you to expand your joy, cultivate more intimacy in your life, and rediscover the pleasure within your personal relationship. Dive in and discover untapped intimacy and true joy for yourself or with your beloved. Bring back the harmony and happiness that you long for. Let's begin an unforgettable journey that will leave an imprint on your heart and soul forever. Welcome to Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. Here's your host, Divine Kika.
Welcome to another edition of the Tantra Lounge. My name is Greg, and I am here to set up the show, introduce the show. I'm here with the one and only, the lovely Divine Kika. Hello, love.
Hi, Greg.
It's good to be with you, as always. I get the privilege of getting in here with you, setting up the show, and preparing everyone for our wonderful guests. And you've been lining up some incredible guests for the shows. Today, we will have Jan and Olga in for the second half, or the second portion of this show, which we'll get to in a minute. But I did want to mention, you have another fantastic guest next week. Yeah. I wanted to promote that and tease it. Monica Sawyer will be here from theblissretreat.net. So wait, just blissretreat.net. It's a great retreat where you go finding your purpose, aligning with it, setting goals for 2015 from that place of joy, excitement, and alignment. It's going to be an incredible thing.
Let me tell you, she embodied that bliss. She's like the blissful one that lives a life of bliss. So she has a lot to teach people. I really love her work.
I love this.
I'll be speaking in there too. I'll be a speaker in that show. I'll have a couple hours. I'll be teaching about how to really find your orgasmic power and live a life of power, love, and bliss from your sexuality. And she does the other blissful aspects.
It's
so
important
really
we
fun.
say that you have to sign up for this retreat by Christmas. So blissretreat.net. It's a great gift. I mean, if you want to give one to your loved one.
It's not that expensive either. It's very accessible. It's here in Campbell.
Okay.
And I think it's a great opportunity to learn and to get the new year going and learn how to have more bliss in your life.
I love this. This really encompasses everything. We will make a physical representation of your goals and passion that you can take forth into 2015. I'm always looking to try and organize my life and put it all into perspective, and I think that's exactly what you're going to get.
We need a little direction because in the new year, everybody gets a little overwhelmed. I am even overwhelmed thinking about all the things I did or didn't do this year, all my goals, and I'm trying to make like my life so I have all these segments for January. I'll do this, and that can be very overwhelming.
I know, and I always think I'm going to have it together, and then once the new year hits, I'm like, I'm so far behind on getting my life into place. This is going to help you, but just the name alone says it all, Bliss Retreat, blissretreat.net. And again, Monica Sawyer will be here next week, and she's going to talk more about it with you. But for the time being, we have guests in the studio today.
Yeah, they're coming in.
Olga and Jan will be here.
Huchins.
And you tell me that he used to be the mayor of Los Gatos.
He used to own a yoga studio in Los Gatos. He used to be the mayor of Los Gatos. He's an amazing, extraordinary man that has so much wisdom to share with us. And so does she. And this couple, they work their problems in a beautiful way. They are really in love, and they are living a relationship where
they're in sync with one another.
Empowering, and it's beautiful. And where they go, they bring that love from each other to everybody around them. And they're really living a healthy relationship, which is not very common these days.
I agree with you. I think there's something to learn from them. You can sense, I don't know how long they've been together, but you can sense that they complete each other.
Oh, in so many ways, and it's so beautiful. And I'm so honored because they're personal friends of mine, or like we have gatherings together, we go out dancing together. I mean, they're a big part of my life, and they're celebrities, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's exciting. So they're going to be coming into the studio and taking over for me shortly. So we're looking forward to that. One more time, I'm going to mention blissretreat.net to sign up for that by Christmas. And you'll have Monica in the studio next week. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and I still have that promotion going on for this week that I will do 5 sessions for $150 each for 1 hour.
Christmas gift.
Christmas gift. That's the last Christmas gift. And the New Year's, it's all going to be gone.
Yes.
And it's going to go back to $250 an hour. So if you call me now, after you hear it, a couple days after the show be aired, which is Saturday.
Yes.
I will give you a session for $150. My phone number is 408-460-3081. Now, guys, if you call me to ask for a date, I'll hang up.
Yes. Please
Okay,
do. Don't
good.
allow them in.
You
that
got
way.
that, right?
Yes.
Good.
So make sure you take advantage of that because you're running out of time. But Jan and Olga will be in the studio very shortly. You're listening to the Tantra Lounge Sex Talk Radio on Daisy 1170 AM.
Awesome.
Divine Kika is an international Tantra master, author, seminar leader, relationship and sex coach. She will teach you to master your sexuality and self-awareness so you can experience fulfillment and happy relationships while living a life of love, power and passion. She guides you achieve the love life you have always wanted and have the best sex ever. If you want to create a truly happy relationship or to manifest your perfect partner, sign up for private video coaching through Skype and start creating the life you want now at www.divinekika.com.
Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. I am so excited because Jan and Olga are here, and they are celebrities, and they're also amazing close friends. And what a beautiful reflection, this amazing group of people that are in my life. And these two, we kind of like hang out together a lot. We go dancing together, we have dinner parties, we are in each other's lives, and what a blessing. What a blessing, and what a wonderful journey to watch the love of you two grow.
Thank you, sweetie.
And I must say something that I don't think any man touched me that deep, like just by hearing words. When you said to Olga, I remember very clearly that everything that you are, everything that you ever done in your life, and it's hard for me to say it without tears, everything that you are and you ever done in your life, all the workouts, everything that you work to be who you are today was to be in this relationship.
Yep.
And the
She's
level.
my Lifetime Achievement Award.
That's so sweet, so sweet.
Yeah, so opening with that, welcome to Tantra Lounge.
Thank you.
We are
It's delightful
very happy to be here and love you, and you look gorgeous as always, beautiful inside out.
So are you. So would you, Olga, introduce
sweetheart.
Jan for us?
Amazing, amazing man. Beautiful, deep, sensitive. Well, he of course has all the worldly.
She's suspicious. She's in love.
I know.
No.
I am. Shh! Don't tell.
Don't tell anybody.
From the worldly standpoint, how world perceive him, he is handsome celebrity. He very successful political leader in the past. He was a mayor of Los Gatos. That's where we met.
Yeah.
He was 20 years on television doing broadcasting as a newscaster, sportscaster, and I know the people absolutely loved him for being very authentic, very real.
The body is the temple of the spirit.
Here we go. That's how people know
Take
him.
good care of it.
Emmy Award-winning producer, produced television show around emotional intelligence for kids.
For little kids.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. Does a lot of social work. He is right now, sweetie, what are you, on board of Mankind Project?
Yeah, the U.S. Mankind Project, which is an
Sure.
initiatory international organization to help men come to emotional intelligence, spiritual authenticity, and a sense of accountability and mission in life.
Beautiful. And he just came
Wow.
from weekend doing work in Folsom Prison.
Inside
Wow.
Folsom Prison with the men in blue, and I think it was 29 men from around the world who came together to help facilitate deep introspection and the kind of work that
What a
is
beautiful-
sitting in circles so men can be authentic and touch that place in themselves that has caused them rage or misunderstanding or confusion about their beauty and power to be a blessing in the world rather than a problem.
And Kika, I'm so happy that
Wow.
he did it because I myself wanted to do this work. But I got a lot of discouragement around that because woman, blonde, that and another could
Yeah,
be a
it
bit
wouldn't have fit to have a woman in
would
that
be
setting.
challenging. But I was so happy because I find that violence in the world is something that I personally passionate about because of my experiences in life, and to do the work with people who by accident or due to inability to process their emotions got into trouble, got violent enough to get in jail, and now suffer consequences, and been there for some people who have
20
emotional
years
maturity.
in that
Wow.
setting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What a blessing that you're there to wake them up. So when they leave, they have a life to look forward to. And I must say that we did men's work together. We coached
Right.
men's groups, and I could see you in action. And the gift that you are for the man is beautiful. And you inspired me to do men's group more and more.
Excellent.
And
Because
he
I didn't
gets
know I
better.
could before then. I was like, I'm the girl in the skirt. I don't know if I can be in a group of 30 men and handle it. And I
You're
did
a
it.
full
And
being, and you can relate in the masculine as well as the feminine, and that's a lot of your work is to understand both.
And it was a year ago, right?
a couple years, I guess.
I want to make a
he's better.
I want to
he's
make
stronger.
a little bit of a change. It wasn't just me going there to take care of the folks there because, like I say, 29 of us from around the world showed up. It was a holy place of incredible safety in the middle of this maximum security prison inside the chapel where we met, and the circle of 50 or so men who sat in that circle together was spiritual bliss, an incredible circle of kings, king warriors, but kings. So it was an experience I received from as much as I gave, if not
I
more.
honor you for doing this
Yeah, I'm
work
super
for
proud
men.
of him.
And because not just the men in prison need the healing. The men
Oh,
outside
absolutely.
here, they are trapped in marriages that are not happy. They're the men that are going to work and they're frustrated with their lives. They get, and especially our listeners, like a lot of the Indians, they come from India and they come from this whole culture, like with a dream, the American dream. A lot of us, they come foreigners, and then we buy our house, we have our children,
And
we
then
got it
what?
all together, and then now what?
Yeah.
It's like,
What is it I have actually been imagining into reality? Whatever it is I'm looking for, visioning is what was going to come true one way or another. And our vision is of something, and things don't make our souls happy. It's some connection that makes our souls happy. And so that sense of, the show's about sex, and sex is the primary sense of connection where you get a physical manifestation of it. But all the layers of connection are what these men were missing when they were younger and are getting by having someone care enough to show up for them.
that's
And that's what we're doing. That's what you're doing with your show. That's what we do in our work. We show up for other people and allow them to see who they really are. The processes are multiple.
The bliss
and-
is there.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just go for the fear. Can you introduce Olga?
She is my warrior princess and goddess. And in a lot of ways, she was, my ego says, sent by the universe to pull us into this mission we're on and have the experiences we're having in Brazil and around the world, where we are playing. In yoga, they call it Lila. If consciousness exists in form, it is basically only valuable to play there. Consciousness comes into form to have an experience. Let's have experiences. Choose consciously that they be things we really want out of life and enjoy whatever comes. But that's kind of what happened. This incredible spirit shows up. She's from Ukraine originally. She's a genius marketer. She's a brilliant, her nickname's Idea Mama for a reason. She is got the deepest soul and the most passion and the most consciousness in one package. And look at all of her parts. They're all perfect.
It's a radio.
Crazy parts. Look at all her parts on film. Okay, I want to marry you too.
Exactly.
That's it.
I love the energy between the two of you, by the way. I mean, the sweetness of the way you relate as friends and the playfulness is beautiful for me to watch, and the depth that both of you represent. It's just gorgeous to be around.
Yeah, I'm very grateful.
Welcome to Tantra Lounge.
Sex Talk Radio.
Divine Kika is a radiant force, overflowing with positive energy, guiding you to a heart-opening, blissful, authentic, tantric experience. This show will help you to expand your joy, cultivate more intimacy in your life, and rediscover the pleasure within your personal relationships. A lot of people have questions out there about Tantra. I think there's a lot of misconceptions, would you say? Some misunderstandings about what it's all about?
Yeah. When I say I'm a Tantra teacher, people look at me like I wish I could show you their faces. They have these big eyes and like a little, and excitement. It's like a little bit of fear and a little bit of nervous, and they look with these big eyes and a big smile because a big part of them is really curious about what it is.
Of course.
But then there is a little bit fear. So it all means excitement.
I think so. It's a stimulating topic.
Tantra is a path like Zen or yoga that uses sexuality as a door to awareness.
That's right.
And then Tantra is also choosing with awareness what brings us joy. Now, if we're expanding that, like what is really be conscious enough, knowing oneself enough, knowing your surroundings, knowing what your deepest desires, fears, emotions, and send that into how can I bring more joy into my life? And from that joy, expand throughout all those around me.
Absolutely. I think that when it comes to Tantra and sex, it's such a hot topic. Of course, people are interested in it. Of course, they want to hear about it. They want to talk about it. But really, it's just scratching the surface of it. Although sexuality is very much embraced in Tantra, it is really not the primary focus or point.
Wow. And I remember you as that, I met you as the yoga teacher. I didn't know none of the stuff. I just met you as a cool yoga guy. I was like, wow, how does he have that body? But how old is he? He looks amazing and he knows so much. What a wonderful man. And I'm working at your studio and being like, wow. Blown away by who you are. And I didn't know all of this other stuff about you until recently.
Neither did I.
It's been, when I was young, it seemed obvious to me that the best thing to do would be to stay in shape because it would empower everything else. We are in this body, and it is the vehicle through which we express everything, so it should be primary in my daily consideration. How do I keep it working? How do I keep it open? All those sorts of things. And so I'm glad to feel the sense of vindication I'm about to be 66 and still feeling vital enough to hang with this young beauty and have a better experience of living than I have ever had in my life. It's better, and it is getting better and better and better, which is fascinating. It's cool.
It's awesome.
It's cool.
It's awesome. So what is the new thing that you guys are working on? What is the new, you told me a little bit about trust. And
that's at the base of our relationship. Trust is, I judge, part of why we were able to, 2 weeks after we met, decide to get married and be married 6 weeks after we first encountered one another.
Wow. And how long you guys are together now?
For 3 years now, yeah.
And it's been a wild journey, hasn't it?
It is the most intense adventure I could have imagined. It's beyond what I could have imagined. The level of intensity in my bride is way past what I can handle. And that's my opportunity to be able to be with this powerful a woman is asking me to step up in ways that are allowing me to handle more and more and more in all areas of life. And that's the blessing that it offers to be in here. But my first experience was one of the first times we made love, I totally trust this person. And having never really trusted other people in my life, it was a new experience, one that was incredibly frightening, and I had searched my whole life to experience. So it was overpowering and easy for me to know, yes, I want to marry you from the very beginning.
But took you being ready, took all the work that you did with yourself,
That's the way I look at it. That's the way I imagine it to be the case. I would judge it comes in all ways with all people different and unique, and yet it does feel so special as to have gestated for a while.
Tell
Wow.
the story now.
Can I give you the shorthand of how we met?
I was
'Cause
going to ask that. So please.
Olga loves the story, and
I love how he tells it. It's just, I find it sweet.
so I had a yoga place in Los Gatos, and as you were saying, and people would ask me occasionally to rent it. And one day, a group rented it, and I was down there helping them come in to, well, you would rent it, come down to work out where they were going to be and how I was going to help them. And this young lady comes up to me and she says, I see you giving other people hugs, and it looks like you are really good at it. I want a hug. So I give her a hug. It was a good experience, and I don't think much more of it. I come back at the end of the day to help them break down and clean up, and it's as though there's a spotlight in the center, and it's on her, and everyone else is in the shadows.
It was a conference for healers, and I was invited to present PhysioEmoDynamics as modality that I use.
And so something's going on. So I go up to her and I say, can you do that all the time, meaning glitter and just take over the room with your energy? And as you know, she can. She's like you. No one misses when you guys come into the room. And so going out dancing and such with you, too, is quite the exciting experience. I'm turned on by the way everyone's getting turned on by the two of you. So the experience is that, and she's leaving, and I think she's with this fellow who was the organizer, and I can already tell I'm enough older than her to almost be, or actually be her father. So I'm not thinking romantically, it's not right of me. So I kind of am looking at her in the distance. She turns and looks over her shoulder, she leaves, and that's all it took. I said, well, all right, I gotta do something about this. So I asked to do her PhysioEmoDynamics. Was really impressed at how much it forced me to take a look at the sort of resentment I'd been carrying for a variety of reasons much of my life, and she was able to stand in my fire, take my fire, and not flinch. Most people can't handle my warrior. So I'm impressed. Well, how do I now talk to her again? I know. You're a marketing expert, vice president of marketing, big companies and such. Could you come and give me some advice about how to run my yoga center better? She says, sure, and she shows up. She shows up with a PowerPoint presentation. It's the whole thing.
I took things seriously.
Yeah, so she's very serious
How
about
little
business.
I knew.
She's a business genius, and that works in our coaching all the time because she handles the business or the operational side of how people actually do what they're wanting to do. And I'm more on the side of how they clear out the obstacles so they can get the energy and build up physically enough energy to have the energy to do it. Then she tells them what to do. So she's busy telling me with the PowerPoint, and I distract her away and get her to be confused enough that she's looking at me like, well, where was I? I got lost somewhere in there. And she could see in my eye that I was like a little puppy. I think you're pretty. You're really cute. And just sitting there.
But he wasn't saying it.
Yeah.
He still was in his semi-professional mode. But yeah, I already.
Besides, I'm a country boy.
He's not really listening. He is not interested in tactics or strategy. No.
I was out of strategy, but it wasn't.
Right.
And a different
Another
tactic. So she's so bold. She goes, "Do you need help?" And came over and kissed me.
Kiss.
Kissed me. Oh, serious kissed me.
Kissed what? You don't know what kiss is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very wet.
And it was extraordinary. And
Wow.
so 2 weeks later, we dated and had, as I said, a really powerful connection in ways that were undeniable. And she shows up with a little gift, a delightful little red box. And she hands me the box, and she says, this is a gift for you. And okay, cool. And I open it up, and there are two little folded pieces of paper inside. I open one, and it says, I love you. And it was the first I love you from Olga. And I kind of, okay, that's wonderful. I'm touched too, and I'm so glad you said it, and I could say it, because I'm feeling it, but it's inappropriate, you're too young, etc. And so then I opened the second piece of paper.
Hey, you already slept in that bed, in the same bed at that point.
Exactly. Well, I thought that was fun, but I didn't think that I could go, like, oh, let's get married or something silly. It was wrong.
Right.
So I opened the second piece of paper, and it said Y-E-S, yes. What is this the answer to? She said, any important question you ask me.
Whoa.
really, huh?
Smart.
Exactly.
So she had seen through everything and had made her choices, and then she put it on me, and I responded appropriately. And the next day, after a day's consideration, because I'm a country boy, yes, would you marry me? And she says, yes. I knew the answer. And we got married 4 weeks later.
Yeah. Had fun ceremony, very shamanic.
Beautiful crystal, big crystal ring inside the ring. And the fellow who did the service beautifully described, if you stay inside this circle of love, you'll be fine. It's only when one of you steps outside the circle of love that this situation will ever really change. So stay inside the circle of love.
That's beautiful.
We all know the physical aspects of sex, but we rarely hear of the spiritual side. 10 Tantric Sex Secrets for Greater Sex, Love, and Intimacy Tonight by Divine Kika will bring you extraordinary bliss. This titillating and easy-to-read book will transform your ordinary sex life to breathtaking, amazing, powerful. Great for beginners, let this book be your first step to a happier love life. 10 Tantric Sex Secrets for Greater Sex, Love, and Intimacy Tonight. Available in hard copy, ebook, and audio format at divinekika.com. That's divine, Kika.com.
I'm real excited about your new book, 10 Tantric Sex Secrets. And it's really beautiful that you came out with this, and so I'm hoping that everybody can find it and read what she's written here and take a great start to your own tantric journey and take a look at this sweet book. It's a great little pamphlet. It's easy to read, and Kika's just wonderful.
So, this is beautiful. It's very touching, very magical. But then what happens is people have, not everybody has that kind of magic in the relationship, but it's so beautiful. But I want to know what it takes to keep it going, from the aspect of trust that you said. Like, you are a spiritual person. You know when you can trust and your heart is full and you don't live so much in the fear anymore. But for the average person that is listening to us now, that is watching the show, that is not so spiritual, that is not there yet, that have a regular relationship and they're struggling to trust, to connect, what would you say to them?
If you're in, be in. And that means love everything that's happening. And if there's a problem, make it yours to solve. In the sense that I'm going to do all of my work in the relationship. And anything I see that in any way bothers me about Olga is my projection. She's nothing but unconditional love. Everything she's doing is either a direct act of love or a request I step up and fulfill her desire to be loved in this setting.
Even if you perceive like that is a mistake?
Absolutely. Because if she, for instance, yells at me when I don't feel it's appropriate, she needs me to be able to handle that and not get into a reactivity about something about me doesn't realize that was just her version of that love in the moment.
Everything is love or request for love. Our anger, anything within us that bubbling and feels negative to another person, it's our request for love. You haven't heard me, you haven't fulfilled your promise, that. Basically, I want you to love me. Right?
And if I ever get into blaming her, then I can start to be in the I'm in the relationship. If I step out and think it's her fault, her problem, she's the one messing up the relationship, I just live in my old past, all my old story about abandonment or somehow someone did something, and I'm a victim. But if I choose consciously to love the person I've chosen to love, now I'm empowered and I'm not a victim. And I get to choose. Now, there could come a day that you say, well, I choose that this isn't the form in which I want our love to be. But that would be so obvious, it wouldn't be any question. It would never be a mystery. It would be obvious. So, but unconditional means unconditional.
Tell me more. So
There are no conditions under which I don't love you. Period. That's all I return, because that's all you're giving me.
Even if it doesn't look like love.
Especially if it doesn't look like it. That's the point. Especially when it doesn't look like it, and some emotion tells me to run. That this isn't for me. That's my fear. That's the part of me that wants to be safe and protected from real life and doesn't want to grow up.
See, people have this huge mistake thinking that love looks like something particular. They treat love like something particular. But love has no form. Love doesn't look like that, or it doesn't look like that. Love is all there is. Then, besides love, is demand for relationship. But this is two separate things. Love is one, and relationship is another. Love, who is loving, is the essence of ours. It's the essence loving another essence. That's how I love you, sweetheart. I love Kika not for her beautiful form and giggle and sweet personality, but I love your essence. I love, we call it heart, right? When if you put in our heart, soul. My essence love is your essence. My essence love is your essence. And then there are relationships, right? Now relationships, it's personality has relationship is personality. It's ego, because that's what personality is. Individuality, ego. I am separate from you, I'm different from you, and this is how my characteristics looks like versus your characteristics. And now we look how the dance is, the relationship, how is the dance, right? So if there is much, my needs and your needs, and here is satisfying, it looks like love. That people look at like to say, it looks like love. But then there is mismatch in my needs and your needs on personality level, on the ego level. My essence still loves your essence.
But my needs are not being met.
And then we have perception of the needs are and wants are and communication issues. But that's nothing to do with love. Love is there. Don't work on love, work on relationship. Yes.
So my needs, I need to watch sports.
Okay. It's that common guy need.
When we first started, sports though was a distraction for me to avoid doing what I needed to do to be an adult and run my life. I had been so successful and so brought everything in my life that I had gotten to the point where I was both lazy and depressed. I was in a loop of not knowing why I felt badly. But I wasn't taking charge and being empowered in my life. So when we first got together, Ola just said, you don't have time to be watching sports. And I was so resentful. How dare you tell me I can't watch sports? Do you know I used to make my living doing sports? I have every right to watch sports inside of that. And I would be all resistant and puffy and egotistical and stuck in it's my way or the highway and all this thing.
And
then
the
I
answer,
realized,
of course, is then highway.
right. She's the only person
He just didn't
in the
like
world.
to take that road for some reason.
I don't want to mess with the Russian woman. Don't
Exactly,
let me
just
highway.
don't.
She means business.
Oh, totally. Never win an argument. I've never won an argument with her. And yet, if I give up my need, it turned out it wasn't a need at all. It was a distraction. And my
there are
ego.
needs and there are wants. And huge mistake. People perceive majority of wants as needs.
Yeah.
And treat
The
them
little
with
girl, the little
different
boy
priorities. So that's the trick.
The little boy or the little girl wants.
So as I would give that up, I would go, whoa, this gives me power. It's good for me. So, well, if I ever watch a football game, I can't only watch the end, or I only watch playoffs now, and I watch sports if I'm on the exercise machine.
That's a great compromise we found. He exercises, he watches his sport. We don't have television that distracts him from living life.
Yeah, we don't have a TV in the house for that very reason. And you can go down this whole list of, I don't need to learn about that in the computers, and I don't need to learn that about marketing. Oh, I should never sell. It's a devil's work. And all these insanities I was living with, all these beliefs.
Some of the yogi, the spiritual, not really aware in the world, living in La La Land. Like I'm a yoga teacher too, but we're the human beings living in this world that have to make a living, that have to be real. Our foundation got to be strong, right?
It's a big
Everything
shadow,
is
big shadow.
spiritual. Everything is spiritual.
Everything is spiritual.
Yes.
Even having your business going well.
Including having your business.
Yeah.
And it's as
And
spiritual
being
as it
well
goes.
paid for it.
Absolutely.
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 And that's a big shadow for a lot of creatives, change agents, and people who want to have the frustration or be victim to the universe, as opposed to saying, okay, tomorrow I'm just going to start looking for all the ways in which I can make money, save money, invest my money, find opportunities. That's just a fun thing to do during the day, is to go through the day looking for the ways in which you can have the success you want.
And the business is the game, as everything else.
Just a game. It's
Everything
Lila.
else
It's
in
Lila
this
you gotta
life
play.
is the game.
Hi, I'm Divine Kika. I'm here to invite you to my new radio show, this and every Saturday at midnight, to inspire you to create loving, happy, fulfilling relationships in your life and have the best sex ever. I'll teach you tantric sex secrets never known before, to spice your life and to give you greater joy. Join me this and every Saturday at midnight. Divine Kika Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. For more information, go to divinekika.com. So what's Lila?
It's the yogic term for play. I got started in that and got distracted. It is, since we are consciousness having an experience, what are we to do but have the experience? Play in form. Yes, it's horrible. We die at the end and there's pain, but in the pain there's peace. There's all these beautiful illusions and things going on. And during my day, I can spend my day looking for something almost like it's a game,
It is.
So where's opportunity today? What would I really like to have happen today? And look for possibilities to make it happen all day. That's fun. It's like being a kid, hide and seek. Where's Waldo? That's a different experience than sitting and having the loop of, that's not what I want. I crave something else. I don't know what to do, so I'll eat to distract or otherwise find ways to distract myself from what I really want in life.
Yeah, it took us quite a bit of time to get him out of his attachment to his old
Who's she talking
identity.
about? Oh, me. Okay, good. I thought, who were you talking to? You're talking about me. Okay.
Take him out of attachment of his identity, out of sense of complete freedom, because we are everything. We can be everything, we can do everything, we can play any game we choose, and if we're bored,
I can change my identity. I was stuck in being who I was.
But people, unfortunately, and we went through that obviously, as all humans, we get so identified with what society taught us to perceive as fashionable, good, successful, modern, you name the label. Safe, important, reputable, credible. I mean, and we imprison ourselves. We lose sense of freedom. With that, we lose aliveness. With that, we lose what love reveals to be, because love is underneath all these mental constructs, underneath of identification, underneath of attachments to all our desires that are as well imposed by society. There are not desires that are our own, if you look at that. There is no single desire that is our own. We are born, we have needs, and then society brings us to want things, to reach out for things. And it's our inner work to look at all this assortment of desires that conflict with each other very often. And that's why people conflict in relationships, because our inner desire conflicts with each other. I want that, but I cannot have that, which is opposite to that at the same time. But society told me so, because the media has a very strong vehicle to deliver the brainwashing component, right? So I believe in that, and I want that and that too. There is a conflict. Now you want this and this, and it's conflict with everything I want, and it just becomes one big mess. So clearing the mind is really important.
And
Great.
that gets to the piece about in prison. We are all living in prisons as much as those men, many of those men. I see people all the
Different
time
prisons.
who, in their success or their power or their personality, are living in a prison, a trap.
Many people. People are married, they feel they're trapped. People have children, they feel they're trapped.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I think I feel like I'm trapped in California.
You
I
will
wanna live
feel
somewhere else, but I
like
can't.
that everywhere.
I love California, but I would love to live in Brazil.
Well, grass is greener everywhere, right? Anyways, you will go to Brazil, You will stay there for some time, and then you will.
Then I'm ready to come back.
Exactly. And it's a beauty of it too. Our impatience is a quite beautiful trigger for our experiences. If you would be comfortable being right here as it is, which is kind of in a way destination of all spiritual practices, and that's where the dog chases its tail. We are manifested in the body to experience life, not to sit in the dark room with closed eyes and unify with consciousness. No, we came out of unifying consciousness to separate and to experience life. And when you become mature spiritually, you understand that there is an observer that can see all these notions. So you're not born, you're not dying, but you're living this life in this body and you experience and watching it. And then you go back to unified consciousness. But you don't pretend that your lifetime will be in Om. It's not going to happen. There will be experiences, and it's beautiful. There are contrasts. There will be pain, which actually as beautiful as joy, as pleasure.
I think we experience moments of enlightenment. We are not enlightened all the time, but we get to experience moments of it.
Wake up, fall asleep. Wake up, fall asleep. Wake up.
And those moments is what makes life worth living. And
Sleeping's good too.
Sleeping is good.
The lessons that I get from when I wake up and I realize I've created a nightmare or I've created a vision of magnificence, both have their service. And sometimes when I go to sleep, good things happen. Sometimes when I go to sleep, bad things happen. But waking up to what's going on is underneath it all. I like the idea that I don't have to be experiencing it for it to be real. My human consciousness is caught in time, and so that's what feels like going to sleep. But the reality underneath, I can't have any effect on because that's just what is. So all my imaginings might as well be used for, again, the play. I wonder what it would be like if this beautiful Ukrainian woman would come along. I didn't say beautiful Ukrainian woman. I said, for many, many years, could the person who is my true muse, the person with whom I am meant to be in relationship, show up? And who would have thought it would be like this? This package. But that's the idea that everything's happening is perfect. It's perfect. The pain, the suffering, all of it. Now what? Now what? Might as well play.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So for the people that are in relationships and are struggling right now, the marriages that are going to spend the next week together and they go through their day and they don't spend as much time as you guys spend together because you work together
all the time and
you work together, you work out together, you sleep together, you wake up together. I mean, you guys do everything together and you do it in such a beautiful way. But a lot of couples, they're disconnected. Their love is, and they're kind of giving up and settle for a life of misery or whatever the story they're running in their heads. I would love if you could give them three things that they can do to feel better or to make it work or to really bring aliveness to relationship, to rekindle the passion, to rekindle the love, because it's something need to switch.
I work with a lot of men, and I always believe that the man has the responsibility to lead if possible, not because he's better or anything, but since we live in a patriarchal society, the man's ability to be more sensitive will have more power than the woman's ability to be more sensitive in a relationship, generally. So I would say the first thing is both individuals should do what it takes for them to feel like they're improving themselves and happy about the direction they're moving individually.
Individually.
Going deep, getting into shape, thinking better thoughts, being more active in making money for the family, whatever it takes to be part of a real improvement in the relationship. Second, less talking. Quiet. Just be present. Just be in the same room quiet for 5 hours and don't talk at all, and you'll end up making love.
Sounds good to me.
Right? I mean, we use our words and thoughts, and they're caught in the past, and so they're constantly re-triggering our old patterns and stories. So words don't really serve this soul place. The body serves the soul place. That's why we find it in our presence with one another physically so beautifully. And if I can just shut up, because most of my world is being my performer, a fake version of myself, the performer I send out to entertain people and keep them at arm's length. This quiet, innocent child that is the place in me that can love, it takes a while for it to feel safe in settings. And I've got the world when I come in the door, and I've got my responsibilities and my fears, and everything is in that swirling environment of my home. So if I walk in and I can get quiet for long enough to remember who this person is and who I am, and have the moment of breathing together, or just matching breaths, or gentle touching that doesn't have any direct intent or anticipation of going anywhere, but that level of deep intimacy will make a difference. Quiet. Can't talk the spirits into existence. You have to open and empty to let the spirits come in. The third thing, I don't know.
I don't think I would do bullet points. You asked what they can do since they feel disconnected. My question here would be, who are they disconnected from, or what are they disconnected from? It's not that each other is disconnected with, because as personalities we are by default disconnected. But they disconnected from their own essence, from their own being, because it's my essence loves your essence. And more I get into separation, deeper I am identified unconsciously with my ego, more distance, more gap between each other we will have. Because then on the we are so far from our essence that our essences don't meet any longer. Or maybe they never met. Maybe we met on transactional level. I want from you that, and I want to get from you that. Or I give you that, right? And as soon as transaction is over, now what? Right? So they either never actually met in love. I'm not saying fall in love, but fall is appropriate word too. We are falling. We are falling out of the sense of imaginary self into reality of self. We are falling in love that underneath of all of that, right? So disconnection between each other means disconnected from the self. Connect to yourself and you will automatically meet each other in love. Because underneath that, all there is love. How much time do we have?
Do your inner work.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Inner
Unpeel everything that is not real. Unpeel all your illusions, all your misconceptions, all your misperception, all your false belief systems. And the hint is almost every belief system is false. So you don't need to guess, oh, is it false or is it not false? Which belief system I get rid of? All of them. Get rid of all of them. Empty yourself. Become absolutely empty vessel. And then there is so much love there, available for everybody. It doesn't mean that I have to have romantic relationships with everybody, because love is love, relationship is relationship. A romantic relationship still, it's somewhat transactional relationship. Nothing wrong with that, but there's transaction. I'll give you the enjoyment, you give me enjoyment, you give me pleasure, I'll give you pleasure, you give me sexual arousal, So there is it's a romanticized form of transaction. And it's beautiful, it feels great. But you cannot sustain yourself on transactional reality. You can only go deeper and keep being with each other's essence, completely disregarding what's going on surface, because the surface will change. The essence of us will not change. He is beautiful to me now, and when he will be old little fart, he will still be beautiful to me, because his essence will not change. Maybe it will be even more beautiful because it keeps revealing itself, because the body will start to fall in away, and his essence be more vulnerable to me, as I see that. And I hope his ego can get over the fact that I will be a little grumpy grandmother, with fallen boobs and all the things that happens with age, and he still will love me, because in essence...
Be there to catch your boobs, honey.
Yes, honey.
honored to have you here. It's such a joy.
Divine Kika is an international Tantra master, author, seminar leader, relationship, and sex coach. She will teach you to master your sexuality and self-awareness so you can experience fulfillment and happy relationships while living a life of love, power, and passion. Achieve the love life you have always wanted and have the best sex ever. For life-changing relationship advice and great lovemaking tips, visit divinekika.com. That's divine, Kika.com.
So, do you have any new workshops for men? Anything? Shall we create a workshop for men, you and I, Jen? It's about time.
I love this piece that's working for me these days where I help people understand how to break the cycle. So when I first start working with people, we work with people, can you really risk not believing your thoughts and feelings? If I can just get people to risk, I'm not going to automatically believe the next thing I think or the next thing I feel. And instead say, what would I want to think? Ideally, how would I like to feel? And start to choose their own programming rather than continue to live in the old program, which was installed by mom and dad and the church and the school and the job and the places in which the people do not have your soul in their mind when they're designing the way in which they relate with you. So choose for soul and love and peace and abundance. Choose as opposed to listen to the thoughts and feelings you've been programmed with.
And since you ask about our work, we focus a lot right now on, at least my part, I really love to coach those who do their own transformational work for others, either the coaches or healers or teachers or you name it, practitioners, wellness practitioners, yogers. I love to help them to actually get their ducks in order so their life is actually functioning financially and otherwise, and for that very often it requires to completely redesign the business model and offer deeper understandings and deeper insights that help them to do fulfillment component of this work, which means working with clients in actually cause the impact. Fast, penetrating impact. Great, deep transformational work. And the passion here for us both is to coach couples to become coaches for each other. I heard some...
Oh, that's a beautiful work.
Some people I heard, you listen, there's a lot of different ideas about how things should be in a relationship, right? And one idea that I heard that I completely disagree, never coach each other, never advise each other. What a kind of BS!
Partner? If you don't trust your partner for that, who will you trust?
Absolutely. So there are steps to that, of course. You cannot become a good coach unless you did your own inner work vigorously, went to the depth of it, to the bottom of everything, so you understand reality as is, without all the filters of perception. And then when you clear and you have really, really good understanding, then you can coach others. And for that, you need modalities, you need frameworks, you need techniques, you need to understand what challenges you will be dealing with, because we deal with clients, and there are a lot of challenges, as you know too.
You coached me, and you helped me a lot.
Sweetheart, only 1 hour. I hope you can do a lot more.
Oh, you did
I
a
love
lot
you
in 1 hour. I really
I
loved it.
People afraid to go deep. They're afraid to face themselves. They're afraid to face nothingness and emptiness, because that's how deep you go. You feel at the end of the work, you actually find freedom into being absolutely nothing specific and nobody. But people don't like the idea of being nobody. They construct the whole life around being somebody. This somebody doesn't really work for them really well. They try one somebody, it doesn't work, and another somebody construct, it doesn't work, and this identity and this brand, nothing work really, because there is no freedom. Identifying with the form, there is no freedom in it, none. The freedom is knowing that you are everything, and not from the words. People really love, oh, I read that. No. You need to derive through your own experience to know experientially, directly, that you are ultimately everything. You feel it. You can have scientific explanation, and it's not enough. You need to experience it. You need to experience it, because from there is greatest compassion, greatest relating, because then I am relating to I.
Yes.
Always, I am relating to I, and if I'm arguing with you, I argues with I. Understand which part of I argues with part of I, and that is in relationship. It is which part of me imaginary cannot relate to part of you imaginary, because underneath of that, when all that falls away, it's just I. And it's not, I know that some people will think, oh, what New Age woo-woo. But it's not, because you can derive to that experientially. And I speak from experience that transformed me profoundly. And after that, nobody ever can say that we are separate.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So what are you doing in this world? Are you still doing the television, whatever you do in television, or are you doing anything like that
He
these
speaks
days?
a lot.
Yeah, I've been doing speaking. And
what
that
kind
sort
of speeches are you doing?
I'm doing a my favorite speech these days is what questions do you ask yourself? And I'm deriving toward what I really want to do as a spoken word piece is a speech in which I only ask questions. Because it's only the questions we choose to look at that determine our life. I love the work of a fellow named Joe Dispenza, who was in the movie What the Bleep Do You Know, who talks about brain science. And in it he says, did you get up this morning and decide who you wanted to be today? Because if you didn't,
I remember that part.
anything else you say is BS. Because the only way you will be who you want to be is to decide and choose that way. As Olga said, all the forms are not real. But since we're here, pick the friggin' form that you want to be. And do that during the day.
And the interesting thing is people do choose the form that they're in right now.
Right.
Every form in which we are, we have chosen.
Yes.
People hate hearing it. Oh,
But
I'm
sometimes
suffering.
we don't like what we created.
Exactly.
And that's the time that we have to look and create something new.
Tear
I'm
it down
40.
and build in something new.
I'm creating everything new. Like everything is
Exactly.
falling down. It's like,
Exactly, and that's a great
there's
time.
a big all my whys are changing. All the whys and the
Exactly.
person that I thought that I knew that I was up to now and the things that I wanted.
And for good
And there is a
reasons.
new me emerging that I don't even know who it is.
And that's great.
What is the new, and then sometimes I ask myself, what's the new Kika is going to do with this? Because it's like, it's somebody new. It's like I'm creating what feels good. What is this new person would like to have? How does this new dance is happening? And it's a scary place to be. It's scary because like everything is falling. There is nothing
To hold on
stable
to.
anymore. It's
There's-
yeah, the house is there, everything's there.
Right.
The house, the boyfriend, whatever, it's all
Right.
there. But in here, everything is, and it's beautiful what's emerging because it's like dying inside for that. And when I witness it in my coaching to people, and it's like jumping out,
Of the cliff, yes.
and you don't know if you're gonna survive that, and it's free falling. But that's that joy of creating it all new.
And in this fall is the greatest opportunity for a lot of compassion. Because this in not knowing right now, the heart suddenly opens. It's like a beautiful flower. It suddenly opens to, so I don't know. And I'm actually soft right now. Because usually people are very rigid. We are, as individuals, are very rigid. And more in the ego we go, more rigid we are. I know that, I want that, and I represent that, and I don't stand for that, right?
When this happened, I did
Right,
this.
right.
But now I'm not that person anymore. So when this happened, what the heck happened now?
And in not knowing, there is the greatest love.
Yes.
In not knowing, this is where love is.
But we can have an aim where we want to be, maybe a vision of where we want to be, and then go for that.
Why not?
Right.
It's a play. You
It's a
always can
play.
play. And to play, when you have a game, you always know the rules that you can either abide or try to go around. And you know how much you want to score and what you need to do, right? So there is always some map in the form. But you can change it anytime.
So I'm thinking all the listeners are at home, they are through the holidays. Everybody's a little cuckoo right now, thinking about what they did through the year, what they want for the next year. Maybe some people are a little bit frustrated. They did this, but they didn't do that. They're taking a little weight, or whatever it is. Everybody's going through their own psychosis. It's like,
And advice is
you hear people screaming like they're driving funny right now. I see it everywhere.
It's so much to do to have fun.
I have to buy all these gifts to make everybody happy, but I'm miserable.
Yep.
I didn't buy anything. I didn't buy a gift to anybody yet. I don't feel a need for that.
Our travels usually gift for each other. I buy during the year so much clothes to him. He doesn't even have to place to wear it really, but he's like my doll. I love to dress him up.
So for the people that are like going through those changes, everything that we talked about, I think it's a gift for them for this Christmas season, and then I think this show is going to be before Christmas. So it's
Merry
Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Enjoy your transformation.
Happy holiday.
That breath is one that one can use to, like taking the balls and tinsel off the tree, to disassemble whatever construct that is causing conflict in you and pain and unhappiness. And just let it drain out. Even a moment's peace of quiet in the body will be rewarded with a bunch of good energy.
How do we find you? Where's your website? Where's your Facebook?
We have a few websites. So Jan Huchins, probably the easiest way to find him at janhuchins.com. We have a website called executive-coach.net because we do work with a lot of executive level clients. I have site for the modality that I call PhysioEmoDynamics.com. And it's probably pretty complicated to remember it all. So maybe, if you will be so kind, you just write down somewhere information.
The video, you write down.
Yeah, so that would be easier.
But
Other
if you
than
want to
that,
repeat for the people that are listening to the radio, just the name of the 3 sites so they can get it.
Yeah, janhuchins.com is a place to start, and that's pretty easy. Yeah, for me.
PhysioEmoDynamics, physiology, emotion, dynamics. PhysioEmoDynamics.com, probably my site. And the emails are there, an opportunity to sign up for different training programs that we do right now. And we are working on and developing new stuff. We are very excited. And in a month, probably we'll be launching super exciting training programs.
What a blessing and a joy to have you today. I'm very grateful. Thank you for all the wisdom and the love that you share, and to witness your love in my life and to have you as a close friend is one of the best gifts of my life.